the less fear you have, the less controlled you're going to be.
So this is teaching for women. So why are you putting stumbling blocks in the front of the house of Israel? Have you not read Zephaniah 3:9? Do you know what the sin of the servants are? Presumptuousness. Zephaniah 3:9 tells you that Jehovah will restore the pure language, not man. You've gone too far to the right. You've stumbled at Yeshua. You've gone after the traditions of Judah. What's prophesied that the house of the house of Israel is going to do. They wake up from the lies of the Christian church, realize they're lawless, and then they go after the winds of Judah and their traditions. Doing a Babylonian evening Friday to evening Saturday Sabbath, what they learned when they were in captivity by the Chaldeans. Or they're even more presumptuous, doing a lunar Sabbath. Jehovah took the calendar away. He violently took the feast away. Lamentations chapter 2, verse 6. What Yeshua said to the porter, he said to all, watch, or he's going to come on to you like a thief in the night. The Torah movement is not watching. What they're doing is lying down to slumber. The drunkards, the children of the night, filling their bellies by feasting. He calls them dumb dogs that cannot bark. 1 Thessalonians 5, they're the children of the night, darkness. Sleeping, not watching. Ezekiel 2, 3, and 33. His watchmen have ate the roll in Revelations. They haven't walked after the commandment that was delivered onto them. The commandment of brotherly love, loving their neighbor as themselves. The royal law in James 2, verse 8 and 9, and Leviticus 19, 15 through 18. To rebuke, to warn. His watchmen are not feasting. They're not the unjust steward that has to write their check for, like, you're the unjust steward that hasn't written her check for half. You're pushing Paleo-Hebrew on people, puffing yourself up. Jehovah didn't send his watchmen to a people of a strange language. Why are you speaking a strange language, putting a stumbling block in front of the house of Israel? Nobody understands your speech. We are in Ephraim, the land of the pride, the drunkards of Ephraim who speak English. And at the same time of your presumptuousness and thinking that you can restore the pure language, that Jehovah says only he will restore it in Zephaniah 3:9. And the same sentence, you mix the profane with the holy. You know his name isn't Jesus. That's Baal. Yeshua or Yahushua or Joshua in English. Jesus isn't his name. Why are you mixing the profane with the holy? Are you looking at the law cardinally and not spiritually? You're also wearing the garments of a man. Why do you think you can just teach anyone? Why don't you take heed to the instruction given to women? In 1 Timothy chapter 2, I suffer not a woman to teach or usurp her authority over a man. Why do you think you can just teach anyone? And men, why isn't your video obviously written and so people know that you are teaching women only? Women are to teach women and children, but not men. Quickly write your check for half. For Yeshua's yoke is easy and his burden is light. He was well pleased for his righteousness' sake. He would magnify the law and make it honorable. Love God. Deuteronomy 6. Love neighbor. Leviticus 19:15-18. To keep the 10 Commandments and teach your neighbor to keep the 10 Commandments. Not the 600 and some laws that Moses wrote in a book after Horeb, when he was up on the mountain where they transgressed with the golden calf, where then they were given the law they shouldn't live by, Ezekiel 20, the handwriting of ordinances Moses wrote in a book as a witness against the people, until the seed should come which the promise was made, Galatians 3:19, Deuteronomy 31:24, and Galatians 3:19. You haven't heard Yeshua when he said, "It is finished," before he bowed his head and gave up the ghost. Daniel 9, verse 27, he confirmed the covenants at Horeb. Everything desired at Horeb in Deuteronomy 18. Deuteronomy 5, the 10 Commandments with many for 1 week. And then he sees sacrifice, the sacrificial law, the handwriting of ordinances written in a book, a witness against the people, that was nailed to the stake in Colossians 2:14. Quickly write your check for half. You are the daughter of the bondwoman Agar, Mount Sinai. Galatians 4, not the one with promise. Ephesians 6, 1-4, Deuteronomy chapter 6, the 10 Commandments, the one with promise. If you're doing the feast, stop. They're dung on your face. Micah chapter 2, verse 3. Just like Tobit, he did the feast outside the land. Jehovah sent a bird that crept in his eyes, blinding him. Just like Malachi chapter 2, verse 3. The feasts are dung on your face. And that rest is a polluted rest. It's not your rest. The evening Friday to evening Saturday Sabbath, or even the lunar Sabbath. That's all presumptuous sin. The Sabbath is dawn Saturday to dawn Sunday. You're to be the child of light, not darkness. The sun, Yeshua, is the light of the world. He called the light day. He works during the day when the lights shines. Then evening, a transition of time between sun setting into night into morning for 1 day, 24 hours. Morning in the Strongs is break of day, and morrow, M-O-R-R-O-W, Exodus 16. And tomorrow, M-O-R-R-O-W, is the Sabbath to the Lord thy God, Matthew 28. When the Marys came, it was still dark before the dawning of the first day of the week. At the end of Sabbath ended at dawn. John 20, verse 19. He says, on the same day at evening, not the next day at evening, the same day at evening, because the day starts at dawn, not in the evening.